how Bethesda destroyed Fallout's legacy. Today we're talking about Fallout. Not Fallout is dead, because it's actually not. The brand is bigger than ever. It's still one of the most recognizable names in gaming. It still prints money. It still has the iconography, the music, the vault suits, the memes, the whole post-apocalyptic vibe that basically defined an era. But when people say Bethesda destroyed Fallout's legacy, they're not saying Fallout doesn't sell. They're saying something worse. They're saying Fallout stopped being Fallout. They're saying the series went from a short RPG with identity, consequence, and voice to a product line that keeps getting stretched, monetized, and diluted. And the annoying part is you can't hand wave this away with nostalgia, because the timeline tells a very clear story. Bethesda bought the Fallout IP from Interplay for $5.75 million back in 2007. That's a real number, documented in the industry press at the time. Then they brought Fallout back to the mainstream with Fallout 3, which was widely acclaimed, Metacritic scores in the low 90s. So for a while, it looked like Bethesda saved Fallout. And then years later, we got Fallout 76. And Fallout 76 didn't just stumble, it turned into a public case study in how to burn goodwill. Metacritic scores around the low 50s on PC or PS4 and below 50 on Xbox, major launch issues, and controversy stuck on controversy. That's the art. So the question isn't, did Bethesda ever make a good Fallout? They actually did. The question is, how did we go from that to this? Let's break it down. So the big picture, Bethesda didn't kill Fallout, it rebranded it. This is what people need to understand. Bethesda didn't destroy Fallout by accident. They reshaped it intentionally. They took a legacy RPG series and pivoted it toward broader appeal, simplified RPG systems, more action-forward gameplay, bigger theme park worlds, and eventually live service monetization. And that pivot didn't happen overnight. It happened in phases. And each phase cost Fallout a piece of its identity. Phase 1 is Bethesda buys Fallout and the resurrection begins. Fallout as a brand was in a messy place under Interplay. Then Bethesda steps in. In 2007, Bethesda officially purchased the Fallout IP from Interplay for $5.75 billion. That purchase led to the game that basically reintroduced Fallout to a massive audience, Fallout 3. And Fallout 3 was a hit. Critics love it. Metacritic scores were 91 PC, 90 for PS3, 93 for Xbox 360 according to the documented reception summary. This is why the Bethesda ruined Fallout conversation is complicated, because Bethesda didn't start by ruining it. They started by making Fallout mainstream. Fallout 3 wasn't the old school CRPG formula, but it preserved enough of Fallout's atmosphere and tone that it felt like a real continuation for a lot of players. And at that point, Bethesda was winning. Phase 2 was success becomes a template. Here's where the franchise begins to shift. Fallout 3 proved that the Fallout vibe could be packaged into a Bethesda-style open world. So now the incentive becomes obvious. Keep scaling that formula. Bigger worlds, more exploration, more Bethesda sandbox. And to Bethesda's credit, that formula works for so many people. But Fallout isn't just a sandbox franchise. Fallout's legacy was choice and consequence, faction dynamics that aren't just cosmetics, sharp writing, role-playing systems that actually matter, a world that reacts to you, not just exists around you. And when a franchise becomes more of a sandbox theme park, those things usually get shaved down because they're expensive, they're hard, they require deep narrative design. And Bethesda's version of Fallout gradually starts prioritizing go anywhere, do anything over your decisions reshape the world. That's where the RPG identity starts getting thinner. Not erased, not gone, but thinner. Phase 3 is Fallout 76, the moment the goodwill collapsed. Now we get to the part that did the real damage, Fallout 76. This game is where people stop trusting Bethesda with Fallout, and it's not just because it launched rough. It's because the entire launch era became a symbol of contempt. Todd Howard even openly acknowledged Fallout 76 wasn't expected to be a high Metacritic game. While Metacritic scores at the time were around 52 for PC, 53 for PS4, 49 for Xbox One, numbers that are brutal for a major Fallout release. Then it piled on. The canvas bag debacle. The Power Armor edition was advertised with a canvas bag, but customers received a cheaper nylon-styled bag, triggering huge backlash. Bethesda later promised replacement canvas bags, and it became so infamous that former Bethesda marketing game VP, Pete Hines, or Pete Hines, I don't know, later called it the damn best thing I ever did at Bethesda. Next is the Fallout First subscription. In October 2019, Bethesda introduced Fallout First, a paid subscription with features like private worlds and the scrub packs, with pricing at $12.99 per month or $99.99 per year. That announcement landed like gasoline on the fire. Even if you personally like Fallout 76 later, this whole era did something that's hard to undo. It told players that Bethesda was willing to treat Fallout like a monetization platform first and a role-playing franchise second. That's the legacy damage. The real reason people say Bethesda destroyed Fallout, it's not just bugs, it's not just one bad launch, it's a feeling that Fallout has been drifting away from its core identity. And Fallout 76 made the drift impossible to ignore because Fallout 76 wasn't just different, it was a hard pivot. Multiplayer focus, live service structure, monetized progression ecosystem, subscription layer on top, and that's where the audience fracture become permanent. You have two Fallout audiences. Number one is players who want a Fallout world plus Bethesda exploration loop. Number two is players who want Fallout as a role-playing franchise with consequence and writing as the core. Bethesda's direction has leaned harder toward number one. And for the number two group, that feels like the legacy gets sold off piece by piece. So the industry lesson is Fallout's story under Bethesda is basically the modern AAA story. A legacy franchise gets acquired, it gets modernized, it gets streamlined, it gets scaled, then it gets monetized. Then it gets turned into a platform. And every step makes sense in the boardroom, I know, but every step costs you something you can't spreadsheet. Trust, identity, and soul. Bethesda didn't kill Fallout's popularity, they damaged Fallout's meaning. That's why the argument never ends. So, yep, Bethesda didn't destroy Fallout by making one bad game. They destroyed Fallout's legacy by slowly reshaping what Fallout is. And Fallout 76 was the moment that reshaping became undeniable. Now, I want to hear from you. What was the moment you felt Fallout changed for the worse? Was it Fallout 3's shift? Fallout First direction, Fallout 76, Fallout First? Drop your take in the comments. If you want more gaming industry and franchise breakdowns like this, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. So, stay safe, gamers.